Hi, I'm Amy Baldwin, and I'm the first year seminar coordinator, senior lecturer at the University of Central Arkansas. And I'm going to talk about a piece of training that we've done for our first year seminars. It's called Raising the Academic Bar, and it's really focused on kind of identifying those academic readiness skills that you can infuse within your first year course and kind of help students meet those expectations. I'm going to start though by talking a little bit about what do our students want in their first year seminars. And I got this feedback from one-on-one interviews and also surveys. And I thought it was really instructive, very, very helpful, and very specific as well. So I noticed that a lot of students wanted much more timely, constructive written feedback on their work. They want to know, am I on the right track? Am I meeting expectations? Or what can I do differently to make some changes in how I am doing the work? They also really wanted a little more scaffolding and transition to college level grading standards. And they just, even though they knew that course that we offer really can help students meet those expectations, they wanted a little bit more of an on-ramp and definitely doesn't signal that they want us to decrease rigor. They just want more help getting there. And then I'm going to read this last statement on the right that says, some of them felt the workload was heavy without producing meaningful learning about college transition specifically. And so I think this is a good sign. It tells you that our students are wanting authentic learning experiences, but they want to learn more about the transition process. How can they be successful, not just in the classroom, but college students in general? And of course, there's always this need and desire, and I think it's great that they want this more hands-on things, more interactive things, things that can really get them engaged in different ways. And so I see this data as incredibly useful, very helpful, and inspiring to make these courses that we offer for first year students really spectacular. Now, I also surveyed our faculty, and no surprise here, but the thing that challenges them the most is doing all of those things that students want. That additional instructional time on how to college is really something that can challenge faculty, even some of the best faculty, because they may be used to being well versed in their discipline or their subject matter, their topic. But when it comes to how to college, how to take notes, how to manage your time, they may not feel as comfortable doing it. And so I just want to acknowledge that tension there between what students want and what faculty want to provide, but may find a little challenging. And that is why we're doing what we're doing today. So I am going to share the worksheet that this comes from and encourage you to take that and do it on your own. It's a place to kind of write down some ideas and reflect. There is a section on academic readiness areas, and it asks you to kind of identify how does each gap show up in your course, which gaps have the greatest effect on your students' ability to succeed in your class, and then what could you do to scaffold the skill. So it's just really about kind of taking inventory and taking some notes. And notice that there are things other than just note taking and reading and studying. There's intellectual curiosity and engagement. There's reading stamina. There's listening carefully, self-regulation. All of those things are academic readiness areas that we can, um, you know, call out, highlight, and help students achieve. So I did this with my own course. I teach a memoirs course. It is college memoirs specifically. Students read about people who've gone to college in their memoirs, and then they get to write about their college experience. And my top three gaps are time management and self-regulation, critical thinking and analysis, and reading stamina and comprehension. And those are really core to my class and being successful in that. Yes, the other things are important, but not as important, at least initially, as these three. And so if students are not reading, they're not remembering what they read, and they're not analyzing it, then it makes it incredibly challenging to have really thoughtful discussions and help them build on what they're going to be doing in terms of projects and assignments and things like that. So in my reflection, I asked myself, what could I do to really focus on those? And one is I can demonstrate how to annotate text and not do it just on the first day. I do think it's important initially to do a lot of these things, but also come back to them over time and help students refine those skills. Although I was resistant at first, I am going to need to provide some guiding reading questions. Students are asking for these. I've been hesitant, and I realize that if I really want to help them build that stamina and that comprehension, I'm going to have to meet them halfway on some of these things. And reading questions are going to be part of it. And then I also started doing this in the last year and a half. I assign students roles for class discussion. So I'm asking them to look for certain things, to think critically and analytically, but also getting them in a way that it's not overwhelming, giving them one task to do, and then they come back and report on it. So I incorporated it into the discussion. Another piece of the workshop asks you to just kind of, determine how frequently, if at all, you do some of these things. Do you explicitly teach students how to read text for your course? Do you provide annotated examples? And if you are doing that consistently, great. If it's partially or not yet, again, identify what you want to work on and what you want to incorporate, and don't feel like you have to do everything right out of the gate. Um, so I'm trying to be quick about these videos. I have a tendency to talk a little bit too long. I want to give you some strategies, and I've categorized them into three areas: time management, reading strategies, and then note-taking strategies. So if you want to incorporate more scaffolding, more instruction opportunities around time management, here are some options. Ask students to create a fixed schedule. What that means is they take a week at a time, and they determine what things that they do with regularity. So it's their class. Their classes are all fixed. Those don't change. Their work schedule may be fixed. If there's an athlete, their practice schedule may be fixed. If they have any other obligations on the weekends or in the evenings, those go into the fixed schedule. And then students can see the areas around their obligations and figure out what space they have to do their other work, like work for your class. Have them discuss some time on task predictions, and they don't have to be absolutely correct, but they're starting to learn how to think about tasks in terms of how much time it's going to take for them to do it. And one kind of rule of thumb is to ask them to anticipate taking more time, at least initially, on some of the things that they might have done in high school, because college is going to have different expectations, and it may take longer to do things that feel and look very similar, like an essay or reading a chapter. So help them with that, get them to kind of estimate time on task, and then report how much time it actually took. Show students how to backdate. Take an assignment that's got multiple parts to it and have them break that assignment down into pieces, and then back end their schedule and create some due dates for themselves to get to that final due date for you. Anything you can do to help them with strategies to eliminate procrastination, they will be grateful. And even if it's just sharing one or two once a week, then they can pick which ones that they want to use. Eat the frog is one of my students' favorites, and that is taking the most challenging, most difficult, most onerous tasks that you have, doing it first thing in the morning, and then the rest of the day is so much easier to get things done. Students love that one because it works for them. And then encourage production or project management schedules where students are working together, perhaps maybe in a group, and they are making some decisions about there's a final due date for something you're asking them to do. When can they work together to get certain components done? Great real world strategy for them. Now, here are some reading strategies, and notice that I'm not getting into like reading theory at all. These are things that you are probably already doing yourself and are very simple to teach students how to do. And one is read aloud and annotate together. Show them how you would mark up a text, what you would circle, underline, what questions you would have, and show them how to do that and get them to do that for themselves. I've already talked about providing guiding questions. I think those can be incredibly helpful. Assign a reading task. I shared with you earlier that I asked students to come to class and they're playing different roles. Some of them are giving a little bit of biography of the author, or another may be looking at a particular theme. And so I think giving them something to do with the reading assignment that they then perform is helpful. And you can do that with an entrance ticket. I know some faculty ask for a question and a quote, and then students turn that in, and then something is done in the class with the reading entrance ticket that they did. And then if you want them to get better at certain aspects of the reading process, require submission of it. And so you could require that they submit annotations to select readings, all the readings, whatever it is that you want to see some improvement in their reading strategies. The last one that I want to share with you is note-taking strategies. And again, demonstrating note-taking skills pair is great. Record a lecture, give them a video, you all take it together. You then show them what you wrote down as important and how you made connections and kind of see what they did and where the gaps are. You can also pair students together to take notes. So they are both taking notes in class. They know their partners. At the end of class, they're going to be looking for gaps, looking for things that each can add to each other's. And I think that's a great way to kind of help students build those skills. And wherever you are in terms of, the things that you ask students to do, if you can incorporate the use of notes in those things and require that or strongly suggest it, encourage it, I think students are going to be more likely to use those notes rather than just, jotting down a few things. I've done it with quizzes. Students can come in with annotations from the text, and then they can use that for a quiz. Of course, I put some parameters around it. They can't just open their book and look for the answer. I think those kinds of things can make this academic skill more important for them. And then also, I know faculty who provide guided notes, like almost fill in the blank or space for them to jot down key concepts, and that can be helpful for students. And any way you can incorporate notes into activities so that students see that they're useful can be helpful. All right, to wrap this up, I want to just kind of give an overview of what students have told us they really would like and what we know is also really effective for them. Explicit expectations and instruction. So you're going to have to spend a little time doing that and giving some examples. Even if those examples are not just models, if they are examples that aren't quite there, but you're going to show them how to improve them, those are actually better than giving them a perfect version of something that you want them to do. And I want you to consider giving them more feedback on their progress with these kinds of things, not just on major assignments, papers, projects, presentations, but also give them feedback on their annotations, give them feedback on their notes. Hey, you missed some key ideas and want to make sure you capture them the next time. And anywhere you can provide a clear connection between what you're asking them to do and then what that skill could do for them in other classes or in the job or personally, I think you're going to improve student motivation and interest in building that skill. So I'm going to wrap that up and let you know that if you have any other thing that you need, you can reach out to me and happy course planning.